Hi, my name is Andrea. I am an energy healer and intuitive reader, and today I'm going to answer the questions that you have asked about energy healing, Reiki, crystals, and cards. If you submitted a question for this video, thank you so much. I appreciate you doing that. If you have a question and you didn't get to submit it, you can add it as a comment to this video and I will answer it in the next Q&A. The first question is, how do you build confidence as a beginner? The best way to build your confidence is just to practice and to do it, especially when you feel uncomfortable, especially when you feel like you don't know what you're doing. Because the more that you can apply what you've learned, the more that you'll prove to yourself that you do know what you're doing and that what you're doing is actually making a difference. When it comes to intuitive things, I would say definitely take risks. There have been times when I have gotten messages or visions and I was reluctant to share them because I didn't want them to be wrong, or it seemed really random and I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to look foolish or weird. And in those times when I didn't share, sometimes I found out afterwards that what I was getting was correct. And then there were times when I just kind of put myself out there 100%. I said to myself, you know what? In this session or in this reading, I'm just going to share everything I get, even if it seems random, and just see what happens. And in those times, a lot of the information was confirmed and validated, and that really helped boost my confidence because it showed that I did have a gift, that I was getting accurate information, and that even though it seemed really random and really weird sometimes, it was exactly what I needed to share in that moment. The other thing that I would say about this is if you feel like you need more support, more mentorship, find a teacher, find someone to mentor you, find someone who you can ask questions to, who you can bounce ideas off of, because that's going to be really helpful. If you have someone who has gone through what you're going through, it kind of makes you feel like you're not as alone. I found that when I talk to other healers, the way that I feel, at least one of the people I'm talking to has felt that way, and it confirms that, I'm not doing something wrong and that I am on the right path. So I would definitely say find a teacher, a mentor, or even a community where you can bounce your ideas off of and share different experiences. The next question is, how do you clear your energy after giving a session? This is so important because you want to disconnect, especially if you feel a lot from other people and situations and you're extremely sensitive. I just posted a video last week about how to clear your energy in 6 different ways, so you can check that out. I list different things like using smoke, sound, sprays, I don't remember what else, salt water. Even before I use those tools, after a session, I stop and I try and do something that is really symbolic of me, like cutting the cords. That might be a meditation visualization where I'm imagining the cords cutting. It might be, if it's a Zoom session, I'll close my laptop and leave the room. If it is in a physical place, I'll leave the room and go outside and ground myself. If I can go in nature, that is amazing. That's actually the other thing that I mentioned in the video. And I just allow the energy to fall away that I'm holding onto. If you're a healer or a card reader, you are really sensitive probably, and you want to help others. And so that letting go piece is really important. Not thinking about the person right after the session, not thinking about the session right after, and just completely allowing it to flow away and energetically do what it needs to do will help you to disconnect and clear your energy as well. The next question, do you always use other tools like singing bowls, crystals, and cards during an energy healing session? I would say no, but a lot of times, yes. I really follow my intuition and go with whatever I'm feeling, and that's what I use. Sometimes I'll use crystals. I'll feel like the crystals will help balance and move the energy. Sometimes I'll feel like that might not be necessary, and maybe a tuning fork or a singing bowl would be more helpful. Sometimes I feel like the message of a card would be really impactful, and that would help shift energy. So I really go with whatever I feel. Needless to say, I feel like I'm always surprised at what happens, and it's always an adventure, which at first made me really nervous, and now I'm getting more comfortable with being in the unknown, and that's been a lot of fun. The next question is, how do you know if a card deck is right for you? And do you have to be gifted a card deck, or can you buy your own? So I feel like I'm saying so a lot. So I feel like a good card deck for you will be one that makes you feel good. I have used card decks that felt scary to me when I pulled cards, and it just wasn't good for me, but I used them because I was told I had to use them, or this would be a good card deck to learn on. So I can't talk. In my experience, I feel like having a really good connection with the cards in terms of them feeling really good to you is important. So how they look, the imagery, how they feel, super important. I personally don't think that you need to be gifted a card deck in order to get one. I just feel like that is very limiting, and whenever there is a rule that denies access, I just personally don't resonate with that. I have bought so many card decks, and I love them. I've had really good experiences with them, so I don't personally think that you have to be gifted one. I do think that if you're gifted one, it's really special and meaningful, but I think that you could go out and buy your own, especially if you're really feeling like you want one. Next question. I find I'm only drawn to lighter stones. Like for root chakra, black or dark stones don't seem to feel right, but red jasper very much does. Do you have particular gemstones that you either feel particularly drawn to and those that feel they're not right for you? Short answer, yes, I do. It varies for me. Like sometimes I will be very drawn to black tourmaline, and sometimes I will feel like I want nothing to do with it. One type of stone that I feel like I am always drawn to is calcite. There's just something about calcite that I always want to touch. So it doesn't matter what color it is, I am always really drawn to that. Right now, I feel like I'm drawn to reds and anything that sparkles, which I think is a lot of crystals. But that's because right now I'm really focused on building a foundation and stability. So like a lot of root chakra stuff. And then I don't know, the sparkles are just really beautiful. So always into a sparkle. When I was learning about crystals, my teacher told me that whatever you're drawn to is the energy that you need. Different crystals associated with different chakras still have different energy because they're different mineral compositions. So like there's a reason why you are drawn to red jasper. She also said to take note of crystals that you are repelled by. So not ones that you kind of just don't really care about, but ones that you feel like you cannot stand, because that crystal will probably bring you into balance as well. And there's like some resistance in that area as to why you are really not drawn to that crystal. Next question. Oh, it's the wrong way. Next question. Are you using only Reiki? Did you try others like inner speak or metatron healing or theta healing? I learned Reiki, and that is what I started out using. As I was doing sessions and just getting more confident and comfortable, I noticed that I stopped using the symbols as much, and I stopped doing like traditional Reiki, like following the hand placements in order and doing that sort of thing. And I really focused on using my intuition. I feel like I've grown into a unique healer in that way by just accessing the gifts that I've been given and using them while I'm healing. So I haven't used those other things that you mentioned, and I haven't been trained in pranic healing, which I've thought about, or other things. I'm really honing my craft by using what comes through to me. So animals almost always come through, and I'm using animal energy in the healing. I work with angels, so angels come through a lot as well. I took some classes on crystal healing, so like I mentioned, I use crystals sometimes. But other than that, I wouldn't say that I'm using anything else that I've been trained in. I do know things that come naturally to me are parts of other practices, like my breath, that kind of just started happening, and then I did some research and saw that there are healing modalities where you use your breath in that same way. So I do explore those different things, but I know I haven't been using anything else. Next question. What do I do if I don't feel anything while giving Reiki? Keep practicing. Don't allow your mind to tell you that it's not working. Don't allow doubt and fear to take you off course. It is a completely normal thing to happen. When I first got Reiki attuned after Reiki level 1, I did not feel anything. I was like, is this a joke? Do I suck? What is happening? Keep going and keep practicing. And also, when you're practicing on others, get feedback from them. What I found is I didn't feel anything, but the person that I was giving Reiki to, they were experiencing a lot sometimes. That can help give you validation and that confidence boost to know that things are happening behind the scenes, even if you can't feel it. For me, as I continued getting trained and getting attunements, I felt the energy a lot stronger as I continued. And so that might be the case for you as well. Level 1, it is an initial clearing, and then level 2 is another one, and level 3 is another one. So you may not feel anything because you might have already been having energy flow through your hands this whole entire time. So it kind of feels normal to you. And so as you continue getting practice in and really feeling the nuances of energy, you might start to sense things. Next question. Do you have to use hands-on for a full session, or can you mix hovering with light touch? Yes, you can mix it. You can do whatever you feel called to, whatever you want to do. Sometimes you might be working on someone and there's an area where you just feel like it might be more comfortable to hover. Do that. There might be an area where you feel like hands-on fully is the way to go. I am a believer that you should really follow what your like divine urges are telling you to do. There are probably other people who say like there's one right way to do it and do it that way. And so if that calls to you, then that's what you should do. But my opinion is that you can mix it and that you should really follow intuition and the messages that you get as you're doing it. Next question. Do you use music during sessions? Sometimes, a lot, kind of, yeah. That is the weirdest answer. I'm so sorry. I like to use music to clear the space, to set the space before a session. Whether it is energy healing or it's a reading of any kind, I will set the room up, play music, get really clear and grounded and centered. And so I use music in that way. And I'll usually have that music still playing when the person who's getting the session arrives, whether that's virtually or in person. For sessions beyond that, if it's a reading, then I probably won't. With energy healing, I just go with what I feel. Sometimes I know it's gotta be dead silent. It just has to be. And so I have it be silent. Sometimes I feel like the music is really going to help the person relax and just sink into the table, and so I'll play the music. Sometimes I will not play music, and then in the middle I feel like music needs to be played, and sometimes music is playing and then I feel like it needs to be stopped. So I'm really following my instincts and what I get in terms of whether I use music, but I always use it in the beginning just to clear and set up the space. And those are all of the questions for this video. if you asked a question, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And if you have any other questions, put them down in the comments. Let me know. And if you have any future video requests, also let me know that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Bye.